Just as when you think that Jax could not go any lower, he literally shows you that he has different levels to himself that he can go lower than that. And I was not surprised when it was revealed that he allegedly convinced the persons at the rehab to lie for him to say that he was having a panic attack or a heart attack. And I don't know. I think Bravo just needs to get him off the show. Even the after show, when I'm watching it, it does not even help his case. It's like he is still finding excuses. He's in his eyes still looks lost, and I don't know anymore if this is good for them. I think when they left Vanderpump Rules or got fired, whichever it was, I think that was best for them, and I don't know whose idea was it to bring him back to reality TV. Like bringing back Kristen at first, I was hesitant because of the reason why she got let go. But I can at least say I see some growth in Kristen, seeing that now she's back on TV. For Jax, I have not seen any growth. It's just to him, it's just all a game. I think life for him is a game. And you'd have thought that having a child, maybe marriage, yes, did not necessarily give him any sort of growth, but you'd have think that him having a child would have maybe let him grow up a bit. And for him, everything is just all about producing and all about reality. I think he has been too deep into reality TV where there's no hope for him. And I think that may be his drug. That may be his addiction. He's too addicted to producing and too addicted to trying to make, to him, good TV. And it's now becoming very dark. Like, it's really dark. We got to the thing. Kristen and Luke were hosting a housewarming at their place, and we saw where everybody came. I was surprised to see Janet and Jason arrive because I know that there was a little hiccup in the road between the two of them in terms of Kristen mentioning the whole ring situation with Jason. So to see Janet and Jason arrive together, I was surprised, but at the same time, I was like, okay, at least Kristen is not necessarily doing like what Janet did last season, is by trying to isolate or remove someone from group events. Now we saw where Jasmine came to the party, and at least this is now their first time seeing each other since the whole blow up on the beach when she called Janet, who she is, a Karen. No, she arrived, and of course she was all good, and she was the bigger person where she went up to Janet and Jason to let them know that she will, she's going to have a conversation with them when Melissa is back in town, seeing that the whole blow up would happen. And we saw where Janet was finally on a leash, where she just basically agreed to say, sure, no problem. They don't have any issues with basically meeting up or anything. We see where we have Brittany, who she's bracing for Jax to return, and apparently he's supposed to be arriving Thursday. I am not anticipating this because it only means that Jax will be back on our television screens outside of this stupid testimonial video they keep flashing in each episode. He is supposed to be coming back Thursday, and I think she decides now to finally go to a lawyer. Everybody has been telling her to seek a lawyer, and she's always basically someone who kind of just kind of brushes it off because for whatever reason she still feels as if like there is hope for both of them and they can get back together. But when she starts to discuss the stuff that with the lawyer, I was literally heavily disturbed. Like just when you thought that you knew or you know too much, there was more to the story. Like he was basically in tax debt basically for 1 point something million. They had to you put it on the house. The mortgage climbed. The fact that he's literally like quote unquote stalking her, where it just feels very invasive. I don't know what it is that she could see all of this happening right now and in the time when she was filming, and for her to still like holding out hope to see that they could possibly reconcile. Like she was really expecting that if he was supposed to go into rehab and just maybe was sending her sweet messages, came out and giving her sweet talk in her ear, she would have really literally, I could see Brittany really think that she will be going back into the situation and trying to get back together with him, and then only for something else to happen, and then she's the same one crying and asking for sympathy. And it was just really alarming to hear some of the stuff, and even the own lawyer themselves was, I'm sure, taken back by it, because this is like borderline stalking. Like, you're checking cameras in the household to see what she's doing, who she's carrying over. And it just even gets worse in the after show when the question was asked and he basically is saying, well, she does the same thing. And I was surprised to see Jessie step in the after show to say that, well, when she does it, she's just checking to see if you're bringing persons to the place in their marital home, where for you, you're just doing it just to stalk. And I think that is the problem, where it's like, at what point is enough enough? I would not feel safe in that home. If I was Brittany, I would not even want to be staying in that home, because I really don't know, outside of the cameras that you're aware of that is in the actual place, what other hidden cameras he may be having hide. Because we all know about technology where you can have a clock what looks like a clock, but there is a camera in that clock. I am just really like shocked by his whole thing, and the whole line again with the whole using the front desk staff to lie for you to say that you're having a just to gain sympathy. And this is the same thing, I think that's what we're getting in the videos that they post on the episode, where it just gives off like he's just doing this for sympathy for the audience, to act like, oh my god, I'm finally getting help now and I realize what's wrong with me and I'm going to change. I think all of that is just to gain sympathy, and I really don't think that he is necessarily changed or is even looking to be changed, basically. We finally got the meet up now with Jasmine, Melissa, Janet, and Jason. Of course, they came to discuss the whole ring comment, because Janet doesn't have a storyline, so she needs to be carrying on this thing for eternity to make it seem like it's really something that's bothering them, or her mom, to put it at that. But I highly doubt that's the case. So Jasmine says that she heard the rumor through a friend of theirs. They don't want to call names, basically. They don't want to be creating more to the situation. And apparently Janet now starts to go back again on throwing Kristen under the bus by saying, well, Kristen was the one who said you said it. And then I see where the producers flashback, where we did see where Jasmine says she told Kristen. But in the moment, she was telling Janet that she didn't actually tell Kristen. So now I am confused, because when I heard it first, I heard that Zach was the one who told Kristen. But then when they confronted the whole situation at, I believe it was Brittany's party, we saw the flashback where Jasmine is saying that, well, she told Kristen. But now we have them sitting together and saying she did not tell Kristen. So it's like really confusing where it came from. But the matter of the fact is, it was said, whether by whoever, and that is something that they just need to look into. Again, I don't think it's something to be created as a storyline, because I really don't care. I just feel like Janet is just, as we all know, she was always around Sheena. She's close friends with Sheena, so it explains a lot. And I just think that she came onto this show trying to create moments, or just trying to be the messy villain. But at the same time, she wants to be that, but then she's crying victim. And it does not work both ways. You either have to choose if you want to play the villain and be the messy person, or is it that you just want to be the saint or the fan favorite, if that's what you want to be. But I just feel like it's just who she is to the core. She's just a villain to the core. I don't think she's really putting on for cameras. I don't think she's trying to make good TV. I just think that's who she really is. And I guess they somewhat resolved, but I see where she's now more laser focused on Kristen, because she is just missing the point. She just keeps talking about other persons and person's stuff, and I don't see where she's ever talking about what's going on in her life. But then she is now focusing on Kristen, because Kristen was the one who brought up this rumor or whatever it is. And I think her focus is just misaligned. just try telling us something about, we don't know anything about you. It's not that I really care to know anything about you at this point, but we don't know anything about you, and I think that is what's losing audience. Like, you just being messy for messy's sake, and then when you're basically confronted, it's like you're trying to play victim and act as if like, where's this energy coming from, and again behaving like a Karen. And I think that is why I'm just over the whole Janet of it all. We saw where we had, I believe it was Melissa and trying to remember who. I think it was Melissa and someone. They were having brunch or something. I would want to say it was Lala. Yes, so it was Lala and Melissa, and we saw where she basically, no, not Melissa. Sorry, Lala and Michelle. So we saw where they had a sit down, and this is where I got some emotion finally out of Michelle when she shared that her mom has cancer and it's really bad, where it's, I think it's lung cancer or something she said she has, and it's really bad, and I finally got some more like an emotion out of her. And it's just sad that it had to be something as serious as this for her to finally be a little bit more vulnerable and not necessarily this like stone cold type of persona. And we saw where she basically said that her mom has cancer, and like she just pretty much know, like soaking in the moments that she has with her. And it is really sad. And we also saw some foreshadowing where basically you could see where she feels like she's not supported by her friend group because everybody's more focused on Brittany. And as much as I'm not really too much of a fan of Michelle, I really don't think Brittany needs all of the support that they were rallying around her, because I think Brittany puts herself in these situations and then tries to ask for sympathy when she's the one fueling the fire, basically. Like, I think she wants to be a part of everything, and then at the same time, she is expecting persons to sympathize with her when the shit hits the fan. And I could see why Michelle feels, because in reality, they both are going through the same thing. Michelle is going through a divorce, and we know how Michelle and Jesse's situation back and forth goes. And we have Brittany on the other hand, yes, who is going also through a divorce, and we all know that messy situation. So I think it's something where either the show is painting it out to be where they are just, let's focus on Brittany, or in reality these ladies are just really focusing on Brittany and Michelle, who has a divorce going through, plus her mom who's terminally ill. You could see where she needs the support, and I do agree with her on that part where these ladies needed to at least show up more, because the way how they're going for Brittany, even doing this night before Jax get out with the whole bar thing, I just felt like all of that was not necessary for Brittany, because I think some of the stuff that is going on with Brittany, she kind of put it on herself, and now she's trying to gain her sympathy basically from from persons. We get to where they did this whole surprise thing for Brittany, and they changed the name on the bar to Brits, and they came. The ladies did their celebration, and of course, we then see where Kristen now found out through Sheena that Janet has been saying stuff about her, and when Kristen thought that they were actually cool, now she's finding out that Janet is actually still saying stuff behind her back. So she confronted Janet, and I don't think Janet really gave much or owned up to anything typical her. But it kind of left off where it then started to get into Danny, because we all saw Danny was having a drink. And again, we are at a bar and everybody's drinking, and I don't like this narrative where every time he just takes one drink it's like, oh my god, he has a problem. Like, if he did one thing and he made an apology with the person who they apologized to, I don't see why other persons are actually so concerned about the situation. It did not happen to you. I'm sure you don't have any instances, because you guys can't always keep on reflecting back to the whole Jasmine situation. You guys have nothing else to say, well, he's been doing this, he's doing that, he's doing that. It's like it's always that one situation with Jasmine. And if that's the only thing you guys have, I don't think that's something for you to be labeling someone as a alcoholic or he has a problem, when you guys only see him just did one instance, and so what? Everybody else is drinking. We did it last season with Brittany, and to the thanks of Jax, basically. Why are we doing it this season again now, where we are live? Is that the line of the show where each season we're going to label someone as a drunk or an alcoholic or has a problem. I don't think that's good story, and I don't think that's something that Keep on need to be pushing. And it's sad that we're still talking about this, and it's only because of Janet, because she's now bringing up this whole dark side Danny, and Jason now seems more like a lapdog, and he's just going along with what his wife is saying. And it's just becoming this back and forth. And we saw where they're both over it, where they pretty much left, which I would do as well, because it's like, how many times are we going to be talking about the same situation? We had a discussion with Jasmine. We're supposedly cool, or I've now understood where she's coming from. Why are we still talking about the same situation as if like there is nothing else to talk about? And this is what I'm saying. We don't know anything going on with Janet, and in fact, we don't know anything that's going on with her. Why are we still discussing something about a drink? And if I was on these shows, oh my god, like these persons I probably would be off script, because at this point I feel like this shit must be scripted, because I would be off script the way how I would get into Janet's skin. And I just cannot wait for the Kristen of it all, because we saw the trailer for the next half of the season where it seems like Janet and Kristen got into it on some boat or something. So I'm just over Janet and it all, and I'm just tired of talking about the Jack situation, because I just don't feel like anything he's giving us is actually true or authentic. And I'm just tired of persons giving this dude a platform for him to play in our faces and only to make more money off of playing in our faces, basically. But that was my thought process on the Valley. The season is going. It's just not as high as how I felt for season 1. Don't know what your thoughts were on the actual episode or your thoughts so far on the season, but let me know in the comment section. Remember, guys, to like the video and to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.